getting set for his second season as head coach of the Indianapolis Colts here on the Rich Eisen Show. Shane Steichen, how are you, Coach?
Great to see you.
Good to see you.
Everything's going good here.
Yeah, fantastic. So let's go through that. Now preseason's done. What happens now? Where are you right now?
We're going through roster cuts right now. Obviously, we got Tuesday's the last day to make them. We made a few yesterday, made a few this morning, and then we got a few more, obviously, in the next 24 hours. But going through that process now, and then we'll have a little light practice on Wednesday, get a good practice in Thursday, and then players got a little weekend off, and then we get ready for Houston week 1.
Man. So what is the process like when you go through the cut downs? Walk me through what that looks like.
Like me and Chris get together, we get together with the staffs, go through the rosters, best fit for the team going into the season. Obviously, there's really tough decisions that are going to be made here in the next 24 hours. But we go through that process. Like I said, it's tough. But we have good, hard discussions with the staff, Chris and myself, and try to get the best 53 starting week 1.
Then the hard discussions, obviously, with the guys you asked the playbook from, too, I imagine. Right.
Say that again.
And it's hard discussions with the guys you ask a playbook from as well, I imagine,
absolutely.
Too.
Dude, I had a tough one this morning. A guy that's gave everything and friggin' worked his tail off, and you can feel it from him. You know what I mean? You can feel the effort that he put in. He worked his tail off, meetings, practice, did everything right, and it's just a numbers game at the end of the day. But I tell these guys all the time, just keep chasing your dream. Keep going after it. You know what I mean? Don't let anybody tell you can't do nothing, because go after it. You see guys get cut all the time and bounce around the league and make a team and have a career for themselves. And sometimes they come back here on the practice squad and make a name that way. So just keep chasing your dream.
So let's go on the, opposite end of that spectrum with your quarterback, Anthony Richardson. I mean, this year, in terms of, from my seat, narratives, what people talk about, the upside for him, I don't know if it's being discussed enough, because we're talking about so many other teams, other quarterbacks. He might be a forgotten man, clearly not in your world. What are you seeing from him?
I'll tell you what, I love him to death. I love everything about him. I love the way he carries himself. I love the way he prepares for practice. I mean, we got a sample size last year with 4 games, but going through his rehab process, what he did to get back for OTAs and training camp and attacking it the right way, I mean, the sky's the limit for him. And like I said, I love everything about him, the playmaking ability that he's going to bring to this football team. We couldn't be more fortunate enough to have him on our football team.
And obviously, can't get too high, can't get too low. His response from the podium after his performance this week, where he said he got 2 touchdowns, obviously one for you and one for the other. How do you as the coach take that when you see that response?
He keeps it light. You know what I mean? It's preseason. You learn from, mistakes. I mean, like with any football season, right? There's going to be highs for a football team. And there's going to be some lows, and it's how you fight through that adversity and get through it. I remember last year as a team, we were 3-5, and we were kind of in a hole, and it was like, hey, we got to dig ourselves out. We got into it together. We got to get out together. And we made a run there at the end, had a chance to get in. So, just dealing with those highs and lows throughout the season. He's going to make some spectacular plays for us. I have no doubt about that, along with the rest of our football team. Couldn't be more excited for him and our football team going into this season.
So can you comp him? Anybody that you've ever seen? Anybody that you can that you've coached? Obviously, there's Hurts, but in terms of physical, in terms of how big he is,
I mean, you could say comp-wise from a physical standpoint, Cam Newton, size and strength. I mean, that'd probably be the closest comp, but I've never been around a guy like this with his size and athletic ability that I've coached.
So what athletic ability? Just give me an example. Obviously, we did have a sample size, 4 games. We did see him preseason. What? Give me one thing that you've either seen in practice or on the field where you're like, oh gosh, I haven't seen that before.
Rams game, we threw 4 verts. Aaron Donald, one got through the line of scrimmage, and he had nowhere to step up, and he threw all arm on a 40-yard rope to Alec Pierce, and I'd never seen anything like that. That was impressive as all get out. I mean, he made another play in that game. He scrambled out, hit Mo Alley Cox across, the middle. But even for a young player, rookie, down 23-0, and to lead a comeback right there to have a chance to win it in the second half, that just shows me like there's a lot of ability there. for him in his future.
And so what was it like for you, Coach, to see Jonathan Taylor and Anthony Richardson at the same mesh point after you've been waiting for it for so long? What about that for you?
It fires me up, I'll tell you that. Two really explosive guys in the backfield that can do it all. And to have both those guys in there with a quarterback run game, obviously Anthony's a big-time runner, Jonathan's a big-time runner, and it starts with our offensive line. Our offensive line, getting all those guys back, those 5 guys played their tails off last year, and that continuity and Chris signing all the guys back that we got, I think that's going to pay dividends for us going into this season for sure.
And listen, I don't want you to show me the whole playbook. You won't. But that said, I know you had a great soundbite earlier this summer about the concept of continuing to run Anthony Richardson, and you're not going to curtail that based on what we saw last year?
Well, I think this. Like, I don't want to take that out of his game. I know that. That's what he does really well. I mean, are we going to abuse it? No, we're not going to abuse it, but there's going to be a time and a place, and that keeps defense on their heels. I know he likes to run the football. I think, he was rolling there those first 4 weeks. I think he had 4 rushing touchdowns, had some big runs that changed the game for us. So we don't want to lose that element of our offense. And we go from there.
But that said, he was doing it without Jonathan Taylor. I imagine that would change the concepts inside the 10, right, or 15 with him.
I mean, there's going to be a time and a place. We'll game plan all those things in the red zone, in the field to play. But obviously, you want to get the ball to 2-8 too, and just hand the ball off to him at times, obviously, because he's a big time runner. Like I said, our O-line leads the way up front, and couldn't be more fired up about that group, the quarterback, running back, and our O-line.
Well, in terms of you saying you weren't going to take the run game away from Anthony Richardson, I think you said something. You don't take the 3 ball away from Steph Curry, right? Is that what you said over there?
That's right.
Did you get any pushback that you should have said Tyrese Halliburton instead?
I love Tyrese, and you know what I mean. I'm just saying, like, shoot, Steph Curry's the best to shoot those 3-pointers, and Anthony Richardson, I think, could be one of the best runners to ever do it. So I don't want to take that element out of his game. I
love it. Shane Steichen here on the Rich Eisen Show. And the rest of the offense, the passing game, obviously getting Pittman in the fold is crucial. Who are we not talking about here, do you think, Shane?
I mean, obviously Pittman's the leader in that room. Alec Pierce has had a hell of a camp. He's coming on going into year 3. Josh Downs had a big year for us last year as a rookie. And then getting A.D. Mitchell in the second round. I mean, he's done some big-time things for us in training camp. You can see his explosive ability coming off the line of scrimmage, winning the one-on-ones. So to add him to the fold in that room is going to be big for us this year. And getting, Ashton Doolin back, a guy that's been around for a little bit, they got a lot of faith and trust in, is going to be big for us this year. So really excited about that receiver group. Reggie's done a hell of a job with those guys, coaching them up. So fired up about the offense.
And defensively, this kid Latu, we know he can flash. We've already seen him flash in the preseason. He dropped, I think, because of obviously some injury flags and things of that nature. Walk me through the draft process with him and why you and Ballard and everybody else decided to go and draft him middle of the first round.
Well, I think just the way the board fell, all the offensive guys going off the board, and we're sitting there at 15, and we said if something like this happens and we're sitting there at 15 and he's on the board, we got to take him. Watching him on film, I had a chance obviously to go look at all the pass rushers, look at all their QB hurries and all their sacks, and he just had a relentless motor. Oh, gee, hey, Ballard's in here.
Okay, great. Ballard. This is perfect timing.
Bring him in.
No. This is perfect timing, Shane. This is perfect timing because we talked about the draft with him before the draft. Is he listening right now? Is Ballard
he's right here. He's coming into the screen.
Okay, there he is. We're talking about drafting Latu, which wouldn't have happened if I didn't put the whole 6 quarterbacks before you draft mojo in the universe when we spoke before the draft, Chris, right? Correct?
No, you predicted it. There's no doubt. You predicted it. And I looked down at my phone, and all it said was, I guess you're coming on weekly now. Yeah. And I didn't catch it at first because I was focused on the draft.
Yes.
And then after we took him, I go, oh, shit.
By the way, I texted you literally.
Buzz that out of there. Buzz that S word out of there.
Don't worry about it, Chris. You are who you are. You only know one speed, brother. Listen, I texted you maybe as soon as the word Bo Nix came out of the commissioner's mouth. I texted you on the spot. I texted you that you have to come because you said if 6 went before you drafted, you would come on this show at any point. I asked for it.
There's no doubt I will. You haven't asked. Well, but you know,
okay.
You know I will.
All right. You got it, man. You got it.
Good
okay.
to see you.
All right.
I'm sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Ballard with a cameo.
Unless you want to be involved in all this right now as we go through this.
No, it's all good, man. It's all good. I'm appreciative of seeing you. Very good. There's Chris Ballard. See, did you know that, by the way? He told me that before the draft.
Sean, I didn't. That's news to me. I love it, though. I love it.
Yeah, because we were talking before the draft, and I'm like, you just want every quarterback taken before you draft because you don't need one. And he's like, yeah, because I asked him how many might go, and I said, what about 6? What if 6 go? He goes, if 6 goes, I will come on your show whenever you want. Look what happened.
It was incredible to see him go off the board like that. I mean, I can't recall. Maybe you can. I've never seen that before.
It's because it's never happened. It's never happened. No,
I mean, it's incredible. It's incredible. Just all the teams needing quarterbacks and how it all went down, and to get Latu at 15 was a blessing for us for sure.
Yeah, and again, he looks good. There's no concerns. You have ready to go.
0
full go.
He's came in day one, pro ready. The way he works, goes about his business, in here early, stays late, mess with the guys right away. They took him under their wings. Buckner and those guys. And you can see it. I mean, he's got an arsenal of pass rush moves, and he can get after the quarterback. And that relentless motor just keeps showing up. And he does it in practice. He got his, sack in the preseason game against Cincinnati. But I love everything about him and what he's going to bring to this organization for sure.
Shane Steichen here on the Rich Eisen Show. A few minutes left with the Colts head coach. Listen, I know you got to play him when the league tells you to play him. And you knew you're going to have to take on Houston twice this season. And you knew you were going to take them on at home. Well, but week 1, like right out of the gate, same spot, same team in the same way that your season came to a conclusion last year. What did you think of when you first saw that week 1? Okay.
Honestly, excitement. I think the biggest thing is, obviously the goal for every team in this league, is go win your division and go make a run at the Super Bowl. But these division games are obviously bigger than most. And to get Houston, week 1 at home, right off the bat, obviously ended with them, and then get them right back in our house week 1. It's excitement more than anything. Our guys, they'll be ready to roll. I know they're excited for the opportunity to go compete for sure.
Do you utilize that? This is the team that knocked us out. Do you as a coach go ahead and do that sort of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's going to be amped up a little more because of what happened at the end of the year. But at the same time, it's a long season. I mean, this thing, like we always talk about, it's a marathon. It really is. And I think you find out a lot about your football team, middle of the season, which way you're going to go. But obviously to get a, week 1 win will be big for our organization and for our team, and get some momentum going into Green Bay would be nice.
So how much do you think about that, or did you think about it throughout the offseason?
Oh, yeah. I thought about it all the time. I ain't going to lie. I mean, I'd be bullshitting you if I said I didn't think about it. You know what I mean? We were 15 yards away from winning the South, and it's hard because of all the work and the effort, and doing it with so many different guys throughout the year, and going to the locker room, win or lose, saying that, shoot, we gave everything we had Monday through Saturday to get ready for Sunday. And I think when you have that preparation throughout the week and you can go in there with your guys, win or lose, there's no regrets. You're not holding anything back because you gave it everything you had throughout the week of the preparation. Because I truly believe in this league, the separation's in the preparation, and you got to prepare the right way, do the extra little things. Because I tell the guys this in training camp, like how we practice is how we make us. Like we got to practice to a standard and a level that's going to pay off in the games. And I think that's a big part of it. But I also think too, like, well, everyone's practicing. Everyone's doing the same thing. What are you doing individually and collectively as a group on and off the field? Are you in here early? Are you working late? Like if every single person, just imagine if every single person on your team did that and was the first person in at 5:30 in the morning and did the extra work, like it's going to be hard to lose. It's going to be hard to lose, and not everyone's built like that. And I understand that. But if you can get more guys to do that and do the extra little things, that's when the teams just take off. And then that peer-to-peer accountability, it comes from the coach, myself, holding guys accountable. But when it's that peer-to-peer accountability, I think that's when it becomes really special.
Yeah, and then the word preparation right behind your head, perfectly framed in the shot as you're saying that. So one last football question, then one other one, and then I'll let you go if you don't mind. How about you? How about you in the moments where you're thinking about what you did last year and how you will be more, if you will, prepared for it this year? How much are you talking about that to yourself in year two, and what would that be? Do you think you'll be more prepared for in year two?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me, year one to year two, obviously it's all new, right? And everyone says, like, how do you know when you're ready? It's just like with any job you get, you get drafted. Are you ready for the NFL? Well, we're going to find out. You're ready to be a head coach? Well, we're going to find out. And I think the biggest thing for me was learning our players and learning how they all tick and how you talk to certain players a certain way. Because I believe you can't coach everyone the same, and guys are, have different mindsets and think differently. And as a coach, it's your job to put these guys in position to make plays and to talk to them the right way, because some guys are visual learners, some guys are audio learners, some guys are rep guys, and you got to find that out as a coach on how these guys learn and how they operate. And I think that was the biggest thing for me, is learning our team, learning the personalities, and building those relationships with those guys, because at the end of the day, this business is all about relationships. And if you're connected, you're committed to each other. And that's what we try to work on, in the building, outside the building, dinners, team dinners, all those different things. Because when you're in the trenches and it's 4th and goal and you got to have it, or you got to get a 4th down stop, like, it's like, shoot, you got me. Yeah, big dog, we're rolling. You're not guessing anything. And everyone's on the same page, and you go from there.
Yeah, I know, not to rope you into the conversation that we're having in the media, but Tua delivered a soundbite last week about the difference between his previous coach and his current one, and the current one sort of telling him he's great and how he's clearly responded to that. I'm wondering if you heard that and what your 2 cents are about hearing your relationship with a quarterback and throwing an arm around him and what that would mean. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak on that,
Sure.
but I can speak on a relationship with the quarterback.
Yes, sir.
I think that is the foundation for success. Not only just the full team, but that head coach to quarterback relationship is monumental. I mean, you look around the league and those guys that have been doing it for a long time and have had the same coach. You look at Sean Payton, you look at Drew Brees, that relationship they had, and that thing took off. You look at Belichick, you look at Brady, and I'm just saying, like, those guys that are continually together and building those relationships and holding each other to a high standard, I truly believe that's when it takes off. And you got to foster a love for the quarterback, because it ain't easy. It ain't easy. It's the hardest position in sports to play. There's going to be mistakes. But as the head coach, like, I'm going to have Anthony's back all the way through this thing, no matter what happens. Like, he's going to have highs, he's going to have lows, and that's part of the development, and that's part of the growth process. But I'm 120% behind him, because I love everything about him.
Love it. Last one for you, Coach. One of my colleagues here on the show, TJ Jefferson, you and he have something in common. Shane, you have both been on Contestants Row, and The Price is Right.
Let's go. Did you get on stage?
Oh, Shane, I'm sure Rich is going to.
No, it's okay. Answer.
I will let Rich give you the story, please.
No, he did. He got on stage.
I got to the very end, Coach. I was one of the last people to get called up. This was during the pandemic, so there wasn't, 200 people in studio. There was only 12 of us that they picked off of Zoom meetings. So you had to do a Zoom interview. You had to go through all the casting producers.
Yeah, the excuses already. Don't give a coach excuses.
No, I'm not giving
Don't give a coach excuses.
I'm trying to set Coach up so he understands.
No, you got up. You got up. So, and you played Master Key.
Master Key, Coach, which was in the bottom third of all games ever played on The Price is Right. I found out later.
Excuses.
I'd never seen it before, Coach.
I can't even remember that game.
Right.
I can't even remember that game.
Coach, you set a game plan for Sunday, and then all of a sudden the team pulls a play out that you've never seen before. It's hard to be prepared for that, right?
You got to adjust on the fly.
That's true.
You got to adjust on the fly.
That's true. Now, Coach, what they're not telling you is I got to the very end. I got to the Showcase Showdown. I was, I almost crossed the goal line.
The two dreaded words. Tell them the two dreaded
one.
The two dreaded words. Tell them the two dreaded words.
I'm sorry, Coach. What was that? What was your question?
What were you bidding on for the Showcase Showdown?
Here we go.
Happy you asked, Coach. 2 Harley Davidsons, a really fancy telescope that you could see the stars, and then a trip to space camp, NASA space camp in Florida.
Gosh, you ride Harleys? You look like you ride a Harley.
No, Coach.
Yes, he should.
No, I'm not. I'm barely a bike rider, Coach. But can I ask you a question? Just based upon what I just told you, you have like an estimate of what you would think the price would be?
Yeah, what would be your actual
2
retail
Harleys.
price?
2 Harleys.
Give it to 2 Harleys. Your
A really
space
fancy
space
telescope, a trip to space camp
In Florida.
for a weekend.
for a weekend.
2 Harleys.
2-day trip, 3-day trip.
I think a 3-day trip.
3-day trip, two basic
Hotel,
Harleys.
flight, everything.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Okay. 2 Harleys. Gosh, I don't know what Harleys cost, but I think they're expensive. So 2 Harleys, I'm just spitballing 2 Harleys, 15, 30 G's, space camp. I'm bidding 37,000.
Thank you.
What was the actual retail price?
I bid 46, and the actual retail price was 24,000 something. So
Dang. So what are the Harleys then?
What do you think it is?
The Harleys must have been, I don't know. What, or is it a high? Was it okay, you know what? I should have went back. Was it a high-end Harley? Or like
apparently it was the most basic stock
most
to the
basic.
bone Harley that they make. And they were $8,000 a piece.
Well, hey, I'm with you because I don't know what Harleys cost.
But you would assume, Coach, that they cost more than $8,000, right? A Harley,
I'm with you on that. There's no denying that.
Appreciate you.
So
I went
what
over,
happened? What happened to you though? What happened to you when you were?
I was 0 for up there. I was 0 for 6, and I was the second person called up, and all my buddies went down there. High school buddies who just graduated high school went down. Second person called up, and I was 0 for. I was bidding. I got to be the last person bid, and then all of a sudden it was the way it shook out. Whatever. I was the third person in line, but 4 people went. So I'm looking back at my buddies, and Bob Barker said it's your bid, and I was like, well, it's his bid. And Bob's like, I'm running this show. It's your bid. I'm like, all right, I got you. I'm like, what'd they bid again? You know, he's like, Bob. So I bid, and the next person next to me, he bid whatever dollar over.
No.
He went up. He went to the Showcase Showdown, and I was over, but it was fun. Shit, I'll tell you what, it was a good experience going into that studio, and you watch it on TV all the time, and you're always getting them right. You're like, oh, I got that one right. Oh yeah. And then you get up on stage, and everyone's yelling at you. I had a guy, I was bidding on a tennis ball machine, and the guy, I look back, and there's a guy right behind me. He's like, $1 million, $1 million, and I'm like, for a tennis ball machine? Stop.
What were your parting gifts though? What did you get?
Luggage. I got some luggage and a baker's rack, and my mom still uses the luggage.
No way.
Amazing.
It's like 24 years. I said, Mom, I love you. We got to get you some new luggage, Mom. I got you. We'll get you a hard shell luggage.
But it still lasts.
Yeah.
That is
Oh,
impressive.
it lasts. Yeah. Oh,
Her
yeah.
son won that on Price is Right.
My gosh, that is
yeah.
amazing. Just real quick, I know we're over here, but my one time I met Bob Barker, because again, if you're a fan of the show like that, I met him and I went up to him and I said to him, listen, man, I'm a host of NFL Network. This is like 15 years ago, whatever. I'm a host of NFL Network. And I just want to tell you, you've inspired me every single time I have anybody on the show, whether they're young or a rookie or a veteran, or I just treat them all the same, because that's what you do. You treat everyone the same when you can come to the contestants row, and it's just been inspiring. And he looks at me, he goes, do you want to hug it out? And I said, yes, I do. And I hugged the man. He actually gave me a big, huge bear hug. It was fantastic.
Oh, that's great. That's good times. Good times.
Same here. Thanks for the time, Coach. Appreciate it. Good luck week 1 and beyond. Let's chat down the road.
Sounds good. Appreciate it, Rich.
All right, and I'd say normally you look for my call, but tell Ballard to look for my texts and calls too.
I definitely will.
Take care. That's Shane Steichen, the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts, here on The Rich Eisen Show. Catch The Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.